I genuinely do believe that it's going to be I think it's going to be a bit. I do believe Tyson will win the fight. Of course, I'd say that because I'm in his corner, but I do believe he'll win the fight.
He knows he can hurt him now, so he's going to come and try and hurt him. You will not, as he keeps saying, you won't leave him alone. I would love Tyson to win, but right now those odds are not looking great.
Usyk here, you just, you ultimately, at some point, you end up losing it. That happened to Tyson in the first fight. I'm willing to bet that this focus that we're seeing from him now is a focus that he didn't have in the first fight.
Boxing pros have revealed their picks for the second fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. The two heavyweights faced off in a thrilling undisputed world championship bout earlier this year, with Usyk narrowly edging out Fury via a split decision. Fury will compete for the combined WBC, WBO, and IBF world titles, while Usyk was forced to give up the IBF title. Defeating Usyk would be a defining moment in the British fighter's legacy, adding to his iconic wins, including his first world title triumph over Vladimir Klitschko and the thrilling trilogy with Deontay Wilder. His biggest victory to date would come if he defeated the Ukrainian in the rematch in December. Promoter Frank Warren told Sky Sports, all the doubters, all the journalists were saying Usyk is now up there with all the legends of the sport, Muhammad Ali, the Fraziers, the Foremans, the Joe Lewises, as being one of the greatest. And certainly the greatest of his generation. And I'm pleased they've said that, because when Tyson beats him, no one can debate the fact that he's beaten the best of his generation, which will make him the best of his generation. Despite the fact that Usyk was able to severely shake him during the first round, Fury is unconcerned by that punch. If he threw that punch he hit me with maybe 100 times, it would not have done any damage, but that one time it did, he told Sky Sports. The first bout was evenly matched, and Fury thinks he can win the rematch with a small adjustment. I don't think I can be any better than what I was, because I think it was probably one of the best performances that I've ever done in my life. Although it didn't get the result I thought, it was a very fantastic performance against one of my best opponents, he added. Can I be any better? Can I do any better? I can be more focused, less clowning, and I think that's enough. It's clear that Fury refuses to be anyone's second choice. This battle feels deeply personal for Tyson Fury, no matter how he tries to spin it. For the first time, he's up against someone he can't bully, someone who isn't giving him an inch. Fury now understands that everything hinges on his full arsenal, his skills, experience, and the remaining fight within him. It has to be enough, because if it's not, it's evident this bout may end even quicker than the last one. Usyk now has a better gauge of him after tasting his strength, speed, and pace once. Think back to what happened with Anthony Joshua. Joshua attempted the same strategy as Fury, trying to outbox and outwit Usyk in their second encounter. Despite AJ delivering a strong performance, Usyk was even more impressive. His approach was far more calculated. Expect the same outcome here. Having sized up Tyson Fury, Usyk understands that Fury will likely try to overpower him using his strength, size, and physicality, exactly what he should have done from the start, and exactly what he must do now. Tyson must ensure that, alongside his boxing skills, he applies immediate pressure from the start. The longer the fight drags on, the greater the risk of him losing the ability to sustain that relentless pace and physical intensity against Usyk. On the other hand, Usyk's approach in the first fight was clear. He promised not to give Tyson any respite, forcing him to earn every moment, and that's exactly what he did. Usyk is fully aware that he now possesses the ability to hurt Fury. He knows he has the power, speed, and strategy to outmatch Fury, something Fury recognizes as well. This creates a real dilemma for Fury, as he has never found himself in this position before as a professional fighter. Former professional boxer and boxing expert Johnny Nelson said, "I initially believed Fury's sharpness, intelligence, and size would be too much for Usyk in their first fight. However, Fury ended up overthinking things. Usyk stayed relentless, keeping him on edge and forcing him to fight from both the back foot and the front. Fury was attempting to outsmart and outbox him while also wanting to look nice. Being too smart means outsmarting yourself, but you can also be too smart. However, Usyk kept him on the defensive by being dependable and relentless." Johnny Nelson added, "He landed a few solid shots on Usyk and had him hurt, but Usyk refused to back down. He pressed forward, determined to challenge Tyson's resolve, thinking, I need to test his heart at that moment." Tyson realized the fight had shifted when he felt the sting of Usyk's left hand and was momentarily rocked. He knew Usyk had found his opening. Usyk is a skilled finisher, and he was relentlessly attacking Fury. The referee, however, gave Fury an undeserved break, as he should have allowed the fight to continue, either stopping it when necessary or letting Fury go down for a count. This is a battle of skill against skill, with the finest going head-to-head. Both fighters are exceptionally talented and accomplished, but in the end, one strategy simply outshone the others. Nelson mentioned that Tyson Fury grew overconfident, believing no one could challenge him. It's this very mindset that often leads to the downfall of many champions and fighters at the summit of the tree you can't be comfortable. Meanwhile, Ben Shalom is optimistic that Tyson Fury will even the score with Oleksandr Usyk when the heavyweight foes meet for their highly anticipated rematch. Fury triggered the rematch clause without hesitation, setting the stage for another showdown between the two fighters. Now, Shalom, the head honcho at Boxer, has shared his thoughts on the upcoming battle. Shalom said, "I always backed Tyson for the first fight, and I always like him to win as a Brit, but I can't see a way past Oleksandr Usyk. He's proven it time and time again. And I don't even think it was the best version of Usyk that beat Tyson the first time around. I think they'll both be better this time, but I have to go with Usyk given the history. As much as I'd like Tyson to win."
I actually do expect him to win this rematch. I think he's bigger than Usyk, and that size advantage that he has, he, unlike most fighters, knows how to use that size, that reach, that speed. I think the whole fight will play out the way that the first half played itself out. I think the whole fight's going to go that way. A very focused and determined Fury is a quiet and relentless Fury.
He went on to commend the British fighter's many talents, saying he thinks they would be evident that evening. Porter added that Fury possessed a wide array of tools in his arsenal, making him the dominant force in the fight. He emphasized that Fury needed to take control of the bout and could not afford to be caught off guard.
He has so many things in his arsenal that makes him, for the sake of words, the dominator in this fight. He just has to dominate.
Fury has demonstrated his ability to dominate rematches, especially considering the outcome of his trilogy with Deontay Wilder. Sean Porter expresses confidence that a more focused and determined Tyson Fury, currently preparing in Malta, will claim victory in this showdown. Porter said Fury has so many things in his arsenal that make him the dominant force in this fight. He has to dominate this fight and can't afford to let himself get caught off guard. Discussing the fight on ProBox TV's Top Story show, Paulie Malignaggi called it a must-win situation for the 36-year-old Fury, adding, "Can he physically do what he needs to do at his age? Fury has a history of showing us he can surprise us with the different things that he does. No one really expected him to do what he did in the Dolidemir Klitschko fight," he added. No one expected him to come back in the Wilder rematch and fight the way he did after the first fight. A lot of people thought he won that boxing match the way he did, so nobody expected him to be the one to have to come up with some changes to his style, and he did. And he dominated the second fight, and then they had an epic third fight. Malignaggi, in contrast, praised the robotic accuracy of the Ukrainian fighter. He noted that while he expects the upcoming bout to unfold differently from their previous exciting encounter, he is nonetheless confident in Usyk's eventual triumph. Conversely, Chris Algieri said that Usyk is a nightmare who is tough to get over mentally. Algieri added, "I think this is Fury's fight to lose. We saw how dominant he was in the beginning and middle rounds of that last fight, and yeah, he made a mistake, he got cracked, he got hurt, and if he probably wasn't hurt and in that situation, he probably wins that fight pretty handily." He further added, "Ultimately, if you ask me right now, I think Usyk does it again. Fury is normally the guy who pressures them and breaks them over time. Now he's got a guy who does it, and he does it better than him, and he has so much will. Usyk, I don't see that fading just yet." Malignaggi speculated that Fury could tweak his approach as the rematch nears, much like the adjustments he made in his bouts with Wilder. He pointed out that in their first encounter, Fury boxed defensively, but in the second, he embraced a more aggressive, forward-focused style using his size to dominate. However, Malignaggi cautioned that Usyk presents a different kind of threat, one that would likely be much harder to overpower compared to Wilder.
I do think that Fury will have to make some adjustments, and a piece of me thinks that it could be in the form of the way he made the adjustment against Wilder, where from the first to the second fight, he went from a boxer on the back foot to a physical guy on the front foot because he was so much bigger. I'm curious to see how that will play out against Usyk. I will say this, though. Usyk is not going to go as quietly as Wilder did.
Meanwhile, in his assessment of Tyson Fury's rematch with Oleksandr Usyk, Derek Chisora has identified a certain favorite. Speaking to Seconds Out, Chisora said, "Do I believe Tyson can beat Oleksandr? I look at the way he's going in sparring camp. I don't personally believe that with the sparring partners he's got right now that they're pushing him to be a menace. They're in awe of Tyson. They will pull their punches when sparring. These are the things I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is that Oleksandr is doing it completely differently." Chisora went on to add, "I think Oleksandr is way more likely to start fast and finish fast. He knows he can hurt him now, so he's going to come and try and hurt him. He keeps saying that he won't leave him alone. I would love Tyson to win, but right now those odds are not looking great." Before Fury's rematch with Usyk, Chisora is not the only person who is concerned. Eddie Hearn, the promoter, has also shared his opinions. While he has his fingers crossed for a Fury victory, he also believes that Usyk is the clear favorite for another success. Speaking last month to IFL TV, Hearn said, "I have no idea how to beat him, but Tyson Fury is a very smart fighter." He added, "He has smart people in the corner, but also from an IQ level in boxing, he's right up there. Unfortunately, so is Oleksandr Usyk. So my money, especially when he's won the first fight, will always be on Oleksandr Usyk." My heart wants to see Tyson Fury win, not just because he's British, but also because I want to set up the AJ fight. I'd love to see him do it, but I do see him as the underdog in this fight. Lennox Lewis, the former undisputed heavyweight champion, suggests that if Fury can analyze his previous missteps and adjust accordingly, he will emerge victorious against the unified champion. Lewis said, "I think Fury learned what he needs to do next time because he didn't do enough. He needs to do a lot more. I like him a bit heavier for his fights and not moving around as much." He added, "He has to conquer his own self first. He's been through these things before, so I think he can do it because he knows what to do. He's been at lows before and at highs before. He's down here right now. He knows how to get back up here, he just needs to put in the work at the age of 59. Lewis considers that he gets his energy from revenge in his fights and thinks Fury will feel the same way after suffering his first loss. Lewis said, "Every day I woke up training for this person. Ready for this person, thinking about them the whole day. I took it real serious, woke up every day to their picture, stuck it on the wall, and thought about them all the time. It's a mental war you're going in against." Moreover, Conor McGregor believes Tyson Fury will bring a new version of himself to the ring when he faces Oleksandr Usyk. In their first bout, Fury was the clear favorite thanks to his superior size, but now he finds himself in the unfamiliar position of being the underdog. Despite this shift, McGregor is confident that this dynamic will remain a key factor in their ongoing rivalry. "We've always got to win our fights," McGregor said when asked if Fury needed to win the rematch. He added, "You certainly don't want to be on the receiving end, especially from a guy like Oleksandr Usyk, but that was a close fight also, and I thought Fury had his moments." McGregor continued, "Fury is another guy who can make great adjustments, and if you look at his trilogy with Deontay Wilder, he got better as it went on standing at 6'. Fury towers over Usyk, who is 4 inches shorter at 6. McGregor had predicted Fury's victory, suggesting that his height would play a crucial role in the bout. However, Fury failed to leverage his physical advantage, and in the 9th round, Usyk stunned the former WBC champion with a decisive win. Several members of Fury's team feel that his performance was negatively impacted by the chaotic build-up to the fight. Leading up to his first scheduled bout with Usyk, the Gypsy King suffered a cut during sparring, which caused yet another delay to the already pushed-back matchup. As a result, he was unable to engage in sparring sessions before the fight. Though he chose not to provide any reasoning for his underwhelming performance, the British boxing sensation is unwavering in his belief that sticking to a tried-and-true strategy is crucial to overcoming Usyk. Insisting that his display in their initial encounter was sufficient to claim the win, he said, "I know what I've got to do. Nothing drastic. People can say I want to change trainers, or I'll blame it on my conditioning coach, or I'll blame it on my conditioning coach, or I'll blame it on the cook, or I'll blame it on the mouse next door." He added, "For me, it is the same team, same everything. I know what I've got to do. I thought I won the fight last time. There's no secret. I'm going in there to knock him out because I don't think I'm going to get a decision no matter what I do. So I have to take it out of the judge's hands. I believe I have to get him out of there." Oleksandr Usyk seems impervious to the psychological tactics that Tyson Fury thrives on. The Ukrainian's relentless determination to succeed has fueled his rise to undisputed world champion in both the cruiserweight and heavyweight classes, establishing him as the first professional to defeat Fury. As the two prepare for their highly anticipated rematch on December 21st, the question arises while Fury may hold the physical edge, will it be enough for him to avenge his earlier loss? Todd Dubois, president of Fury's co-promoter Top Rank, told Sky Sports, "I don't know the gamesmanship Tyson plays, but I do think stylistically he's going to have to be really focused for the entire 12 rounds. Usyk is terrific. He has shown that he's a wonderful fighter. An incredible heavyweight who transitioned from a lighter division up to heavyweight, and he seems like you're not going to faze him at all mentally." A showdown between Dubois and Fury, both British fighters, could be an electrifying spectacle, especially if the undisputed heavyweight world title hangs in the balance for the winner. Dubois said, "Stylistically, Dubois a puncher against a big boxer. I think it sets up for a fantastic stylistic fight, a real contrast of styles. Then you could get the undisputed all over again. It's really fascinating." DJ Vlad, the YouTube interviewer and podcaster, recently dropped the 9th part of his conversation with Bill Haney, father of boxing champion Devin Haney, covering a range of topics. The Ukrainian-American host delved into the much-anticipated Oleksandr Usyk vs. Tyson Fury rematch and asked Haney a key, thought-provoking question.
One of the biggest fights that's coming up is Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2 on December 21st. How do you think that's going to go?
Man, I didn't think Usyk was going to do Fury like he did him. You know, so Usyk has made me a believer.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's made me a believer. I think that he'll upstage Fury again.
Oh, so you think it's going to be 2-0?
It'll be 2-0.
Like many others, Haney was shocked by the Cat's surprising victory over the then unbeaten British fighter and was won over right away. Reflecting on the upcoming rematch, Haney admitted he hadn't anticipated Usyk's dominant performance against Fury, but now he was convinced of Usyk's skill. He confidently predicted that Usyk would once again surpass Fury, securing a 2-record victory shortly after. DJ Vlad remarked on Fury's status as a real fighter despite his less than typical build for a world champion boxer. In reply, Haney emphasized that Fury's fighting heritage played a crucial role, pointing to his father, John Fury, as a strategic mastermind in the sport. Haney expressed his expectation for a hard-fought battle, noting that he was certain Tyson would come fully prepared. When pressed about his pick for the outcome, Haney stuck to his prediction, confidently backing Oleksandr Usyk to secure a defendable victory, responding with, "I'm yes."
No, he's a fighter. He comes from a fighter family.
Yeah.
His dad, a mastermind within himself. So I expect a fight now. I expect Tyson to come. He's gonna come ready, but I think Usyk will upstage him.
Okay, so you got your money on Usyk.
Yes.
Although their initial clash brought in a substantial fortune, it ultimately failed to break even. Nevertheless, the event ignited widespread anticipation, setting high hopes for the much-anticipated rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. So, what exactly went wrong in their first encounter? The initial clash between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury proved to be a major financial triumph, with over 1.5 million pay-per-view purchases, predominantly from the UK market. This resulted in an impressive $50 million in revenue. In addition to this, the event generated a further $40 million from advertising and $3 million in ticket sales. Reports suggest the total purse for the fight reached approximately $150 million, with the payout split as follows: Fury was assured 70% of the earnings, translating to around $15 million, while Usyk was expected to receive about $45 million. Despite the event's commercial success, it appears that the generated revenue fell short of covering the total expenses, which surpassed $120 million. A significant factor in this financial shortfall was the rampant piracy of the broadcast. Roughly 20 million viewers watched via illegal streams, with nearly 45% of them located in Europe and 18% in the UK. Tony Bellew admitted he was surprised by how easily Oleksandr Usyk dominated Tyson Fury in their initial encounter. Despite the odds being stacked against him, the British fighter remains confident that the Gypsy King can avenge that defeat. In an interview with The Express, Bellew expressed his astonishment at how much Fury struggled in their first bout. Bellew added, "This time he will be a lot more sad and a lot more aware. It's insane that a man who is 6'8" and just 100 kilos was able to bully this 20-stone, 6'0" monster, and that's what he did. He won't have that element of surprise going into the rematch." But ultimately, Usyk is the best natural boxing heavyweight I've ever seen. I never thought he would be big enough for heavyweight. When Fury initially squared off against Usyk, his height gave him the advantage. However, as he prepares for his highly anticipated return to the ring, the seasoned fighter insists he's embracing his position as the underdog. He said, "I've always been a bad man my whole life, and I'm still one today. At nearly 40 years old, a few years off 40, but I like to say that I'm going to go in there with destroy mode." As Oleksandr Usyk gears up for his highly anticipated rematch with Tyson Fury, boxing legend Bernard Hopkins offers his backing to the Ukrainian star. A former undisputed champion, Hopkins has added his voice to the growing list of experts weighing in on the showdown, confidently predicting that Usyk will triumph once more over the reigning heavyweight champion. Hopkins said, "I think the smaller guy is really the big guy in heart and the big guy in talent. I believe Usyk has his number, and I believe that he's not a big heavyweight, which I think helps him in this particular fight. I just think he has the IQ that Tyson Fury won't be able to keep up with and withstand as time and rounds go on. I like Usyk possibly by stoppage late and not from a punch. I think it will just be a mercy call by the referee." In contrast, Duke McKenzie has cautioned Tyson Fury that adding weight ahead of his rematch with Oleksandr Usyk could play into Usyk's advantage. The UK's first ever 3-weight world champion, McKenzie believes that increasing Fury's already formidable size could backfire. He shared his thoughts on the subject during the most recent episode of the Talk Sports Talk Boxing podcast. McKenzie said, "Fury doesn't live, eat, walk, talk the sport, but you're supposed to. In between fights is where fights are won and lost. We know Fury blows up, puts on a load of weight between fights. And then he's got to get rid of all that weight again. Now they're trying to tell us that Fury is going to be bigger and better. Bigger and better isn't going to beat Usyk. It's really not." He added, "If he puts on more weight and thinks to himself, I'm going to bully Usyk this time, I'm going to go in and walk him down, I'll be able to take his shots because I'm that much bigger, it's not going to work for him." He's going to be slower, he's going to be more predictable, he's going to get hit more and a lot sooner. Usyk wins the rematch all day long. Although Fury was eager to point out that it wasn't the real Gypsy King he claimed to be in the best shape of his life for his most recent fight, last month Fury posted a photo of his body prior to his defeat by Usyk on his Instagram story. Moreover, Tyson Fury is no stranger to rematches. The Gypsy King has faced Derek Chisora 3 times, first securing a decision victory, followed by 2 dominant wins via TKO. Yet the trilogy that truly defines his career is the epic series of bouts against Deontay Wilder.
As it would seem, my rematch with people is always ends up one way. I always end up knocking them out in the rematch. Whoever I've faced more than once has been knocked out in the rematch. So I'm envisaging something similar in the second fight with Usyk. All I can do is prepare well, train hard, eat well, go to bed early, wake up early, do the right things, listen to people around me, and the rest is in God's hands.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.